And please be seated. Good evening. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the Christmas Eve candle lighting service. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every being, and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another not by creed, but by covenant. And we are called to love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here.
Good evening, friends. For those of you in the Zoom room tonight, let's get ourselves oriented so we can maximize the magic of this service. If you haven't already downloaded the evening's order of service, the link is in the chat and on the homepage at ascboston.org. The lyrics to all the carols are included in the order of service and will be posted in the chat so we can sing together joyfully. If possible, you'll want to have a candle on hand to light during the candle lighting. If not, the flashlight on your phone will absolutely do. And for both those in the Zoom room and those here in person, please take a minute to sign our Christmas Eve guest book. Zoomers, the link is in the chat and on the homepage at ascboston.org. We'd love to follow up with a virtual hello since we can't greet you at the great doors after the service. For those of you who are here in person and prefer to sign the guest book the old-fashioned way, sort of, there's a green card in your pew. The ushers will be collecting completed cards with the offering later in the service. Thank you.
Now let us give thanks. Please join me in thanking Robert Holly, Kevin Elf Hefe Terrell and his elves for our holiday decorations, Daryl Waters, John Anderson Miller, and Queen Cheryl Claus for beautification, Bruce Dallaire and Tom Anderson for mailing Christmas Eve care packages with almost 350 candles out to our friends near and far who have made Arlington Street their home through Zoom. To Judy Chambliss and Queen Cheryl for assembling so many candles, Kevin and Cheryl and all the greeters and ushers, George Whitehouse and everyone who loves to climb up into the steeple with him to ring our bells, the Arlington Street musicians, Director of Music Mark David Buckles, Hyungju Jung on piano and organ, Joe Della Penna on piano, Roger Vine on organ, and Julie Metcalf on violin. And Beck Zare on percussion, apparently. I see you. Exciting. Thank you. Thank you to the Arlington Street Choir and section leaders, Andrew Stack, Beck Zare, and Hannah Shanefield. Thanks to Lucy Humphrey, Zoe Arcuri, and to my beloved colleague, Reverend Beth. Finally, please join me in thanking Arlington Street's extraordinary tech team for making our hybrid service possible. Frank Lee, Michael Fisher, and Sandy Dixon, cinematographer Rich Abreu, and tech team lead, mastermind creative director, and producer Art Nava. Yeah. Beloved guests, I want to remind you that there are actually services here between Christmas Eve and Easter. We gather both in person and in the Arlington Street Zoom room every Sunday morning, the soul of Sunday, with fabulous music, some words to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable, great company, and a very lively chat. Tomorrow morning, please join me right here at 11 o'clock for caroling and Charles Dickens' The Christmas Carol, followed by a lovely Christmas tea hosted by Queen Cheryl and Daryl. You are always welcome here.
Especially in these times, it is good to be together. With joyful, grateful hearts, Kim and I welcome you to this beloved spiritual community. Merry Christmas.
We gather in the chill of winter, finding warmth from each other, nourishing hope where reason fails.
Grateful for miracles large and small, let us rejoice in the wonder of making light in the darkness.
Our next carol is Go Tell It on the Mountain. While we're singing, all of the children are invited to follow Santa up the center aisle. You also may feel free to bring your parents if you like. When you arrive, have a seat just here up front, and I have a story to tell you. When I'm finished, you'll follow Santa back to your seats, and she has a little treat for you. Now, let's all rise in body, rise in spirit, and join in singing together, Go Tell It on the Mountain.
1, 2, 3. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. While shepherds kept their watching o'er silent flocks by night, behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled when low above the earth rang out the angel chorus that hailed the baby's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Down in a lowly manger, the humble babe was born, and God held us salvation that blessed Christmas morn. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it one more time. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born.
Thank you, Mark David. Thank you, Julie. So welcome. So glad to see you guys here. So when I was about your age, on Christmas Eve every year, my dad would read us this book. And I have one brother and one sister, and he'd put all three of us on his lap, and we'd wear our new matching Christmas pajamas, and he'd read us this story. So my dad's not here tonight. He's down in Florida, but I'm thinking about him, and I'm excited to share this story with you. It is 'Twas the Night Before Christmas by Clement C. Moore. All right. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, with visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. and Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn, there arose such a clatter. I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window, I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eye should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop, the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas, too. And then in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his sack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk. And laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to the team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
We are going to follow Santa over this way, and Santa's elf Barbara and Santa have a little gift for you. Follow Santa! Woo!
A reading from the book of Luke, chapter 2, verses 1 through 20. And it came to pass in those days that a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And all went to be taxed, everyone in their own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward all people.
American songwriter and singer Bob Frankie's Advent song, Say Yes, celebrates the most extraordinary yes in history. Here are some of the lyrics. Listen closely with me. Can you hear it as a directive in your own life? When the angel arrives, there will be terror, but say yes. The sound of wings like the breaking of a mirror, but say yes. It will arrive when you're little and you're scared. It will lay claim to the things you've never shared. And though your heart and your soul are unprepared, say yes. And it may tear you from home and family, but say yes. It may demand you become a refugee, but say yes. And when you're cold and you're hungry and you're poor, when you're in pain in a room without a door, and when the angel returns and asks for more, say yes. And my favorite verse, when the legions of angels call you blessed, say yes. And were you faithful in each and every test? Say yes. And when they ask you in story and in song, were you upheld and protected all along? Did the power of the Spirit keep you strong? Say yes. If you had told me all those years ago tonight that we were about to be torn from one another by a ravaging virus, that we who had held our candles high together in a dream of peace would be at once afraid for and afraid of one another, I'm not sure I would have thought I could bear it. The idea of being apart is so profoundly dysregulating to me. But as you zoomed in from all over the world, as each of your beautiful faces appeared in your Hollywood square, we found that together, while apart, we could more than bear it. We could show up for one another, make new and deeper connections, comfort and uplift one another despite the pandemic conspiring against us. We said yes, joyful and triumphant. This is Irish poet Pádraig Ó Tuama's A Prayer. So let us pick up the stones over which we stumble, friends, and build altars. Let us listen to the sound of breath in our bodies, listen to the sounds of our own voices, of our own names, of our own fears. Let's claw ourselves out from the graves we've dug. Let's lick the earth from our fingers. Let us look up and out and around. The world is big and wide and wild and wonderful and wicked, and our lives are murky, magnificent, malleable, and full of meaning. Let us pray. As we tentatively surface after our long isolation, this is the work before us: to build altars out of the stones over which we stumble. This is always the work before us. Let us say yes. A woman named Jean Albaugh has been very much on my mind and in my heart. Her entire early life is a trigger warning, all the things. After she'd experienced unimaginable violence in her childhood home, she was sent to a counselor. He saw her only once, though, concluding that Jean had an amazing way of pretending that none of it had happened. We now know that dissociation is a hallmark of post-traumatic stress, but this brief encounter would prove to be her only chance for help. She remained in survival mode for years. She was a straight-A student, the queen of gymnastics, she says, striving to be perfect at everything, praying that people would be so blinded by her shiny outside that no one would look at her inside. She looked for love, longed for love, with no idea of what healthy love might be. When she was 15, she married a 19-year-old. It was a nightmare. But she remained, she says, the queen of the masquerade. Somehow she escaped with her 4 sons, and then things started to look much, much better. She met the man who would become her second husband, who loved her with money. She learned that money could buy happiness, briefly. A big house, fast cars, new shoes, matching purses, diamonds, shopping gave momentary relief. A little incongruously, she became a rodeo rider, a barrel racer. Against a clock, a horse and rider run a cloverleaf pattern around barrels. The fastest wins. Jean Albaugh became a champion barrel racer and was ranked 9th in the world. Her life was perfect. But 2 weeks after she won the national title, she slipped on a wet floor and broke her back. That dream was over. Lying in traction, in a body cast, with none of her usual coping skills available to her, Jean fell into a deep depression. She didn't get any psychological help, but she was prescribed pain pills. Pills that gave her relief from the physical pain and also blotted out the emotional pain. For the first time in her life, she felt nothing. She loved those pills. Her husband sent her to treatment, but she always picked up again as soon as she could get out. And then, you knew this was coming. She lost her husband, her home, her children. She lost everything. Jean Albaugh gave up. She was determined to do herself in. She overdosed uncounted times, but woke up every time. Somehow, for 10 years, she survived on the streets in Davie, Florida, sleeping under bridges. Occasionally, she'd get a glimmer of a sense of time and realize she'd missed her kid's birthday or missed Christmas. For a moment, she'd feel the pain of longing for her children, but she had no way to reach them. And she'd reach for the next handful of pills. Jean's oldest son is tough as nails, but sensitive with a huge heart. And one day he sat down and he wrote his mother a letter and asked his aunt, Jean's sister, if she thought she could find her to deliver it. And she did. She poked around under the bridges of Davie until she found her. The letter said in part, "Mom, I don't know where to begin with you. You don't even know you're the grandmother of 4 grandsons. There is no hope for our relationship. I'm tired of watching the obituaries for your name. I just wish it would all be over." And this is where the miracle happens. Somehow, that letter got through to her. After years of being emotionally numb, Jean felt something. She felt deep emotional pain. Her heart broke and broke open. Suddenly, she knew she had a reason to live. 4 grandsons, 4 reasons to live. She had been offered help before, offered help over and over, but somehow she'd seen no point. What she heard in her son's letter was that in spite of everything her son thought of her, he was looking for her. And somehow, he loved her. In that moment, she felt real love for the first time. And Jean became willing. She accepted help, real help. She was determined to be honest and to try to trust. With unparalleled bravery, she faced what had been done to her and what she had done. People who had walked that hard road before her extended their hands, and Jean got clean. In a long, slow process, she faced her trauma. Yes, I was victimized, she says, but I am not a victim. I am a survivor. She began to fight to have a relationship with her sons and their sons. And this is when the next miracle happens. One of the things Jean had found hardest about being on the streets was the lack of access to a hot shower. Cleanliness, she says, builds dignity, and dignity is in such short supply on the streets. With a compelling vision and sheer grit, Jean raised the money to buy a 40-foot city transit bus and converted it to a mobile shower house. Jean is the CEO of Showering Love. She calls the bus Grace, her vehicle for giving back to those who helped her and for paying it forward to those she'd left behind, changing the course of someone else's story. Jean Albaugh was recently remarried, this time to someone she deeply loves, who deeply loves her. 14 grandchildren filled the first pews, and all 4 sons walked her down the aisle. In the Jewish mystical tradition, a great rabbi taught his disciples to memorize and contemplate the teachings, the prayers, and the holy words, and to place them on their hearts. A student asked, "Rabbi, why do you say on your heart and not say in our hearts?" And the master replied, "Only time and grace can place the essence of these things in your heart. We learn and recite and place them on our hearts in the hope that someday our hearts will break and they will fall in. So let us pick up the stones over which we stumble, friends, and build altars. Let us listen to the sound of breath in our bodies. Let us listen to the sound of our own voices, of our own names, of our own fears. Let's claw ourselves out from the graves we've dug. Let's lick the earth from our fingers. Let us look up and out and around. On this holy night and every day, may we choose love. May we love deeply. Joyful and triumphant, may we say yes.
This is my winter song to you. The storm is coming soon. It rolls in from the sea. My voice a beacon in the night. My words will be your light to carry you to me. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love?
They say that things just cannot grow beneath the winter snow, or so I have been told. They say we're buried far, just like a distant star I simply cannot hold. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive?
This is my winter song. December never felt so wrong. 'Cause you're not where you belong, inside my arms. Bum 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 bum. I still believe in summer days. The seasons always change, and life will find a way. I'll be your harvester of light and send it out tonight so we can start again. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive? This is my winter song. December never felt so wrong, 'cause you're not where you belong, inside my arms. This is my winter song to you. The storm is coming soon. It rolls in from the sea. My love a beacon in the night. My words will be your light to carry you to me. Is love alive? 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 Love is alive. 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 Love is alive.
Something magical happens here on Sunday mornings. 12-step recovery programs meet each weekday morning. And every week, our Friday night supper program feeds our hungry and unhoused neighbors. But Arlington Street has become so much more than a church. Agora Cultural Architects has taken up residence with us. They're filling the building with music and events, and from here, creating a cultural corridor in the Northeast to help amplify the work of Puerto Rican artists in the diaspora. Together, we are reimagining this place as a hub of arts and culture, especially for underrepresented and dispossessed musicians and artists. Every day is another turn of the kaleidoscope. I am always excited to experience what's next. This is the fulfillment of the mission of this place. Arlington Street is a force for good. It is a refuge, a sanctuary of celebration and hope. It exists not only as a place for each of us to grow our souls, but to ensure that no one is left outside the circle of compassion and care. Tonight, my friends, you walked in on that mission. When you leave here, you are called to carry the light we share on this magical evening out into the world. And what will you leave behind? Despite all the uncertainties of the pandemic, our steadfast commitment is to share what we have with those who need us. On our minds and in our hearts are the people of Ukraine, whose undaunted courage in the face of unrelenting violence and bitter privation is the stuff of legend. Members of our Unitarian churches in Hungary have organized a robust response to the Russian invasion. They've given sanctuary to more than 50 Ukrainian refugees. Families are living in the Unitarian headquarters, and church members have opened their homes. They've also established a Ukrainian language child care center and kindergarten. The center is running on $3,000 a month. Currently, there is just 1 month in their financial reserves. Most astonishingly, in just a few weeks, at no small peril to themselves, members are traveling from Hungary across Moldova to Ukraine, where they will be met by representatives from a hospital about 2 hours north of Odessa, in a city currently under bombardment, delivering food, medicine, clothing, and generators into the war zone. On this holy night, let us open our hearts and hands to the people of Ukraine and bring them help and hope. Arlington Street's governing board, Alan, Bob, Dan, Greg, Kevin and Michael, Liz and Don, Lois, Rachel, Sandy and Tracy, Tom and Bruce, every member has contributed to seeding this collection with generous leadership gifts. Reverend Beth and I are each giving $500. Please look at your order of service for detailed instructions on all the ways to help. If you scan the QR code, it takes you to a very simple form. This is the best way to give. You can also go to ascboston.org and click on Give to the Christmas Offering. You can text to give or Venmo at Arlington Street. Finally, if you're here in person, there are envelopes in your pews for cash, check, or credit card donations. The ushers will be coming through the sanctuary with old-fashioned collection plates. Friends, let us say yes. May your yes, your generosity be a blessing to you and to all whose lives your gifts tonight will touch and change. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, friends. It's time for the candle lighting. This has been a tradition in New England Unitarian Universalist churches for well over 100 years. For those of you in the Zoom room, I'm going to invite you to create a shared ambiance in your Hollywood squares. In a few minutes, if you have the ability to dim the lights, darkening the room in which you're sitting, and light a candle or light up your phone, I encourage you to do that. For those of you gathered here in person, here's some good Unitarian Universalist theology. The magic is that the light all comes from one source. You don't light your own candle. It's passed to you by someone else. And once you get it, pass it on. And a reminder, please do not conduct the music with your candle. Thank you. When this beautiful ceremony concludes and I blow out my candle, please let's all extinguish the flames together. Note that you will need to hold your candle steady. This is complicated, get ready for it. I'm going to give you a 1, 2, 3. With your free hand, quickly pull down your mask, blow it out, and quickly put your mask back up again. Don't breathe. Please leave your candles and candle holders at the door as you leave, unless you really, really want it. And here's a secret. If you light another candle later tonight, I promise you, it will be the same light. The candle lighting begins with the light of ages, symbolized by our flaming chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. This light represents the first light, the light of God, which burns in each of us. The chalice is also the repository of our prayers for our beloved community of memory and hope. The memory of those who have gone before us and those who cannot be with us tonight, and hope for those who will come in the future. From the chalice, the light is passed to the Advent wreath. Over the past 4 weeks, we have kindled the wreath in anticipation of Christmas, 1 candle each for hope, peace, joy, and love. Tonight, we light all the candles on our Advent wreath, as well as a 5th candle, honoring the birth of the baby Jesus, affirming our belief that each night a child is born is a holy night. From the Advent wreath, the light is passed to candles representing the baby Jesus, traditionally lit by the youngest children in the congregation. The understanding of Jesus as a human being who gave an example of the divine fulfillment of our human potential is at the heart of our Unitarian Universalist heritage. Zoomers, if there is a child in your home, please darken your Hollywood square and light your candles. And for all of you here in person, will all the babies born to us or welcomed to us during the pandemic, please come forward with your parents and loved ones to light these candles and remain up front. Here she comes. From the Jesus candles, the light is passed to candles representing the disciples, all those who have passed on to succeeding generations the great gospel that Jesus taught. Love one another. Tonight, will members of the Arlington Street Church Prudential Committee, elected church officers, committee, team, and task force chairs, young adults, please come forward to light these candles. And please remain standing in the front of the church. And finally, the light is passed to candles representing all the children of the world, our hope for the future. Now will all the children, along with the trustee adult, my clergy colleagues and their family members, all current and past staff and staff partners and spouses, please come forward to light these candles and remain up front. And now, this is the moment. Please carry the light to the congregation. Let the light be spread candle by candle throughout the church. Let's see if we can light every single candle here from that one original flame. When the entire church is filled with light at the close of silent night, we will raise our candles together, hopefully, joyfully, carefully, and enjoy a moment of stillness and silence, peace. To close, we will burst into joy to the world. May these candles symbolize our commitment to kindle the light of love, justice, and peace in our country and in the world. And now, let's join in singing together, Silent Night.
For our benediction, I invite those of you in the Zoom room to please reach out your hands and touch the sides of your square. And those of you in the sanctuary to please raise your hands, palms out. Let's send loving kindness to the people to your left and to your right. Send loving kindness to the person on either side of you and on either side of them. Send out love into this beloved spiritual community and feel it coming back to you. Love is the spirit of this congregation. And now for our benediction, I invite you to put your hands over your heart in namaste. I bow to the divine in you. The words of American theologian and civil rights leader, Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman.
When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings have gone home, and the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins.
To find the lost, to feed the hungry, to heal the broken, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among all people, to make music in the heart.
Let us keep this faith, beloveds, and pass it on. This service begins when the service ends. Bless your hearts. I love you. Merry Christmas. Amen.
Love your duet as always. Yeah, beautiful.
Oh my God, stop. That's so nice of you. Thank you. We haven't really sung together before. That was the first time we really sung together. Yeah, I think we're a good combo. Yeah, we clicked. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love your Christmas bit, by the way, the sleeves. So fun. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.